Greetings, gamers. I hope that you all had a very happy Valentine's Day. Unfortunately, I come to you on a much heavier note today. There's some bad news for the channel. Now, there is some good news too, so we'll do the good news first. It's not all bad. The good news is I got my laptop back from Lenovo. Woohoo! So that will definitely make it easier to create, edit, and post videos to YouTube. Now the bad news is, regretfully, when I got my laptop back from Lenovo, I read the news that they're making a lot of changes to the YouTube monetization. This is most unfortunate for us that have smaller channels, myself included. I believe at the time of this filming I have 77 subscribers. If you haven't heard, the changes to monetization are going to make it to where if you have a channel that has less than 1,000 subscribers and less than 4,000 view hours per year, which is, in my opinion, a harder standard to reach, the harder of the two, that is, you are not eligible for monetization any longer. This is going to really hurt smaller YouTube channels, in my opinion. I actually posted on social media about this, and I wrote a letter to YouTube, and now I'm making this video. I just thought I would share some of my thoughts on this. And I've got this little cheat sheet here, if you will, of points that I wanted to make. I didn't want to leave out any of these points, so I thought this would be good to reference. But basically, I feel like this is a disaster for smaller YouTube channels, and here's why. There are several reasons, the first of which is that it fails to address the largest portion of the negative publicity for YouTube. So, YouTube has been under a lot of controversy, especially the last couple of years, with there being negative press for them. So a lot of this is because you have these people who are controversial figures, let's say, and they kind of instigate, whether intentionally or unintentionally, trouble for YouTube. And keep in mind, when I tell you this, I'm not telling you to like or dislike or to support or not support a certain person. I'm just saying the facts are out there for what happened, and things have happened. So you can make your own judgment about what to think about these people, but they're controversial, however you slice it. You have folks like PewDiePie and Logan Paul and that sort of people who, there have been a lot of stories in the press about things that they've done. Most recently, Logan Paul with the dead body controversy, scandal, whatever you want to call it. So this has caused problems for YouTube, and it's drawn a lot of negative attention towards YouTube. And so now I feel like they have to do damage control and PR, and they're trying to work on their image, which is commendable. It's a good thing. The changes are not all bad. They are saying that they want to eliminate bad actors, but what they seem to be focusing on is people who repost other people's content, not so much the people who are causing all the big stories and problems in the media, right? So what they're saying is the major problem is these bad actors that copy other people's content and then repost it. Either they're just straight up reposting people's videos, or maybe they're taking big chunks of people's videos and barely making any edits to them and then claiming it as like original material. So I'm all for weeding these people out, but it fails to address the largest component by far of the negative publicity for YouTube, which is the people like Logan Paul that still continue to post videos and make truckloads of money and barely have any impact on their subscribers. You know, I mean, like, they may lose a few sponsors, they may lose a few subscribers here and there, but these changes don't really affect them at all, and even the controversy has barely caused them to lose any traction on YouTube. So I don't see how this affects that component of the negative publicity for YouTube. You know, these guys get a slap on the wrist, so if they get a slap on the wrist, proteges, you know, people who aspire to be like them on YouTube are going to see this and be like, oh, well, he was famous for being controversial, I'm just going to, you know, follow in his footsteps, do the same thing. If I run into any trouble, I'll just deal with it as it comes along. If people saw controversial figures on YouTube getting in trouble, like let's say that YouTube, I'm just picking an example here, but let's say that YouTube said, we're taking away all your monetization and your sponsorship and everything. Like, essentially, you can't make any money off of YouTube for 30 days. We're taking away all your income revenue for 30 days. They would be furious. They would get on YouTube. They'd post videos. Oh, this is horrible, blah, blah, blah. People would see that, and they would take mental note, like, hey, these guys actually got in some serious trouble for doing this. Or imagine if they got kicked off of YouTube, which they're not going to do that because they make too much money for YouTube. But you see where I'm going. I feel like enforcement needs to be consistent. If there's going to be penalization, it needs to be across the board. You shouldn't be exempt from it just because you're rich and famous, more or less. The second point is that it moves the goalpost into the horizon for smaller channels. So, if you don't post content of certain types on YouTube, good examples would be provocative videos. People are provocative in different ways on YouTube, but if you're provocative, it draws a lot more attention to you. If you post educational videos like tutorials and things like that, if you post comedic videos, like if you post skits or videos that have a strong comedic element to them, if you post trendy videos, like, for example, if you have a gaming channel and you post a lot of videos about PUBG or Minecraft or whatever the big game is that's trending at that time, there's certain things that you can do that will expedite your success on YouTube, that will get you followers faster, likes, subscribers, so on and so forth. So you can kind of mainstream your content more and go in this certain direction of the herd that most people are going in. Or you can go your own way, and you run the risk of it being more challenging, in fact a lot more challenging in many cases, to get subscribers and traffic and make your channel grow. And most of us have accepted that at this point. It's not that we're mad about that, but you know, everyone had made peace with things being the way that they were, and now the rules of the game are changing after we've been playing for years. So we've already put all this work into our channel, and now the rug is essentially being yanked out from under us. So that's why we're upset. So many people have been disqualified for monetization without malfeasance. Myself, as an example, I can tell you that I have been on YouTube since 2006, almost like the very beginning. And in that time, I've posted, I think, about 60 videos. And at first, I didn't do monetization because I was nervous about copyright infringement. I didn't want to cause any trouble or get copyright strikes or get my channel taken down or videos deleted or things like that. I post a lot of videos that feature gameplay of video games. So I wanted to be extra careful. I did a lot of research. And YouTube had offered me all these features. You know, a lot of people don't remember this, but back when YouTube started, you had this thing called a director account where you couldn't post videos that were longer than 10 minutes in length unless you had this director account. Only certain people had them. There were certain criteria that you had to meet, and then YouTube would offer you a director account. Well, they offered me one, so I became a YouTube director, and then they had the creator studio and monetization and all this stuff. At every step in the process, YouTube offered it to me. I didn't go begging for it. I wasn't pounding on their door. I'm not like, hey, give me a bunch of money to make YouTube videos. They offered it to me. So I accepted it, I learned how to use it. I got comfortable with the tools that were provided to me and used them to try to grow my channel, and now those tools are being taken away. I have never had any major copyright problems with my channel. There have been a few videos that were not eligible for monetization for various reasons. The most recent one being there's a Dragon's Lair video that apparently Digital Eclipse, or whoever owns the rights to it, they've said that they want to have the royalties for my video. They didn't request that I take it down or anything like that. I didn't get any kind of trouble. They just said they wanted the royalties. So fair enough. That's fine. Ironically, one of the other videos that was deemed not eligible for monetization was a tutorial video that I made for a game called Sinistar. It's an old arcade game, if you're not familiar with it. But it's especially ironic on that video because fair use totally protects people that do educational videos, and this video is educational. It shows you how to do some obscure tricks that at the time of the video's posting, I don't think anyone had made a video on how to do this. And not only that, one of the original creators of the arcade game posted on my video. You can go and look if you don't believe me. He posted on my video and he said, "That's awesome that you posted this. Some of us guys that made the original arcade game don't even remember how to do this. Great video." So I had the blessing of one of the original creators of the game, but YouTube still disabled monetization for that video. And I didn't challenge it because I just didn't really feel like it was worth it. I was actually totally in the right, I feel like, and could have made a very good case against their demonetization, especially with the original creator of the game backing me up. But I just didn't want to make a big stink about it. I let it go. And now we've moved on to this, so even worse. That gets me to the third point, though. So many people have not had any malfeasance, and all these babies are being thrown out with the dirty bathwater. So YouTube claims that there's a huge problem with bad actors copying people's content and making money off of it. Fair enough. I agree we should get rid of these people, but making money is not the only reason why people repost other people's videos or excerpts from their videos. For example, some people just do it for attention, and they may just be bored or goofing around or whatever. And then other people, I've seen fan channels where, say you have a popular YouTuber and that person's posted a bunch of videos and they've deleted some of those videos for various reasons. Then you have fans that will repost deleted videos of popular YouTubers for other people's enjoyment. You know, there's various reasons why people may repost other people's videos that don't really have anything to do with money. So how are you going to stop those people? And if you are able to stop those people, then, or distinguish at least, why don't you use the same intelligent screening methods for monetization? You see what I'm saying? I mean, why demonetize all the honest people that have put a lot of work into their content? Like I said, all the extra tools like the director account and creator studio and monetization, these are all YouTube's idea. Why would you push people to use these things and grow their channel and then take it away from them? I don't think that's good logic. The fourth thing is that it creates a larger divide in the class structure on YouTube. See, before I had the sense that I was kind of earning my keep, if you will, because money was coming in and I could track, you know, my progress year over year and stuff like that. So when I did monetize my channel, it was, I think, 2013, and I didn't really get serious. I rebooted the channel in 2015, but from 2012 or 13, whenever it was, to 2015, I played around with monetization. I could use the tools, see how some videos were more popular than others, or where there might be potential, or things like that. I only made about maybe like 50 cents or something the first 2 or 3 years that I monetized, but then when I rebooted the channel, I made more money than I had made in the entire time I had monetized the channel before that point. It still wasn't a lot of money. It was a pittance, you know, but it meant something to me. And I could see the growth year over year. Season 1, I made more money than the whole time before. Season 2, I made 5 times what I made in Season 1. And then Season 3, I made 10 times what I made in Season 1. Still not a lot of money. If you put all of it together that I've made the whole time I've had my channel, it would only be enough money to buy you a dinner somewhere. It's not much money. But it was important to me, and it was a real easy way and kind of an exciting way to track your growth. Now all that's going out the window. So you're left with a system that before it was kind of capitalist, where it was almost like you had a little small business and you worked on growing your own small business. But now you don't make any money off of it till you reach this certain threshold that may be difficult to achieve for some people. Maybe a lot of people, in fact. I feel like a lot of people. Many, many, many people. And these capitalist underpinnings have been replaced with this quasi-socialist system where you're not getting your channel deleted and they're not going to stop you from posting videos, but you can't make any money off of them either until you reach this arbitrary threshold. So you're just the same as everybody else. No matter how hard you work, it's not going to result in you making any more or less money because everybody makes zero. So it's not really an incentive to work really hard and grow your channel, especially when you consider that essentially what has happened is the lower rungs on the ladder of success have been removed. So you're left, even if you can climb up the ladder, even if you can overcome this extra difficulty of the lower third of the rungs being taken off of the ladder, you're basically working extra hard just to get to where you were before and regain access to the tools that you lost that you had before. So you have to question, is it really worth it to work this hard just to get back to where I essentially was before? And it's especially ironic because the parent company, Google, who owns YouTube, they have an app where you can do surveys and you can make money from doing surveys. You can take like a 30-second survey and make like between 10 to 50 cents generally. So you're telling me that you can pay people 50 cents to take a survey that is like a 30-second or less survey, but you can't pay me a fraction of a cent for an ad click on my video. That's interesting. Anyway, my final point is YouTube's purported tips for creator improvement are woefully underwhelming. They have a series of tips and YouTube Academy and all this stuff, but if you boil it down to what they're essentially trying to tell you is to do simple things like use custom thumbnails, ask people to like and subscribe to your videos at the end, things like that. And I've tried a lot of these things that they've suggested. I don't really see it making a big difference. It makes a small difference. You may occasionally get an extra like or two, or someone may think, oh yeah, it may jog their memory to subscribe to your channel. But it's not going to FedEx you to the upper echelons of YouTube creators, or even necessarily to this threshold that they want you to meet. It's not a magic wand for success. It's not the great thing that they're making it out to be. So it's kind of frustrating that they see this as the example or the solution to all of these problems. It's unfortunate. Hold on, I'm going to pause here 1 second. Sorry, slight technical problem. Anyway, getting to the last thing that I wanted to talk about, what I think would actually help smaller YouTube channels is, imagine if YouTube did, let's say, a spotlight of a smaller channel where you have a postage stamp size little thing up in the corner of YouTube when you go to YouTube where it's going to be like YouTube's rising stars, check out the channel of the day, or whatever. They could call it whatever they want to. That's just an example. But they could spotlight one smaller channel every day. That's one simple thing that they could do. That would change 365 lives a year. Imagine all the people that would get tons of likes and views and subscribers and so on and so forth just because YouTube spotlighted them for a day. That's one simple thing that they could do that would really help out smaller channels. They could also incentivize larger channels to do mentorship, collaborative videos, cross-promotion. Imagine if larger YouTube channels had more incentive from YouTube to do videos with smaller channels, or give a shout out or a plug to a smaller channel at the end of one of their videos. Or you have the sidebar along the side of your YouTube channel where you can suggest channels to other people, right? And a lot of people suggest their friends or YouTube channels that they admire, like, hey, check this out, I think this person has a great channel. One example of something YouTube could do that would help the smaller channels is, let's say that they give, because you only have so many of these slots where you can suggest other channels. Imagine if YouTube gave people 5 extra slots. But the catch is you can only use these extra suggested slots to promote smaller channels, say people that have 1,000 subscribers or less. So that would be a huge help to smaller YouTube channels. That's a simple thing that they could do that would help us meet this threshold. I really feel like right now they're not doing a lot to promote smaller channels, which YouTube is a business, I understand. They want to make money. Primarily, they probably don't do these things because they don't see it as being directly profitable. But you have to inspire the new generation. At some point, the people that are currently making YouTube videos will move on or become irrelevant or less relevant, and you've always got to be developing new talent. So you don't want to stifle or stagnate the pool of new talent. You want to encourage people to do better. I feel like YouTube could have better tools for the growth of smaller channels where they're more involved in incentivizing, not necessarily that they have to do anything from their part other than put programs in place that incentivize larger channels to partner with smaller channels to help bring them up. I think that would be a good thing to do. Those are my thoughts on the issue. If you'd like to share your thoughts, please feel free to comment. Other than that, that's it for now. See you next game.